Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Pickup Line. I'm one of your hosts, Ethan, and alongside me, Hannah. Hannah, how's it going?
Hi, it's going well. I think I'm the person who made the chat start or the video start playing again this time because I didn't mute my YouTube.
I didn't do it this time.
It was me.
I made sure when I was done editing my videos the other day, I was like, wait a second. I went back, I opened YouTube, I muted it so it wouldn't happen again.
No, it happened to me, but I think it's in my headphones. I could have just played it off like it didn't happen, but it's so distracting when it does.
It does, yeah. When it duplicates.
Anyway. Are our phones live today?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so guys, you can call in today. It's going to be a really fun topic that I'm really excited to dive into. We're going to be talking about asexuality, and we're going to have a guest on in just a minute here who I think kind of blows the mind of people who might have like some misconceptions about asexuality. And if you don't know what asexuality is, I think of it as like an umbrella term for people who have limited to no sex or don't really have the desire to engage in sexual activity, or just for many different reasons, because as these things are evolving, we're finding it's definitely a spectrum, and there are many reasons why people who are on the asexual spectrum do have sex or why they don't. But it varies. I mean, you got gray sexuality, you got demisexuality, and I was trying to read all of these today, and there are so many, and I think, well, it can be kind of exhausting for people to try to like keep up with labels. That's kind of a bad way to describe it, but I think for me, the more I kind of find categories, people love to put things into categories to help them understand things. When you can find verbiage to articulate the way you think and feel, it can be really empowering, for me at least, and I think maybe a lot of people would agree with that. But if you want to call in and discuss asexuality with us, if you just have questions, or hear something you might relate to, or if you just want to call in and tell us like a funny story we're like in relation to dating, you are always welcome to call in and bring up those. 951-364-2430. We'd love to hear from you.
And it could be any type of funny dating story, a sex one, a pickup one, like a best pickup line, anything you'd like.
Yep. So let's bring in Tangel.
Well, real quick, if you haven't seen Tangel before, I recommend checking her out. She's been on our channel before with an earlier episode where we talked about sex toys. It was really informative and quite the enjoyable experience. Let's welcome Tangel. Tangel, how's it going?
Welcome back.
Hello. How are you?
Fantastic. And yourself?
Good. Really, really well. Thank you.
I'm really happy to have you back. Last time you were on, that was a hoot. And Ethan was talking about the sex toy episode. And if you want to see Ethan just like emote with shock and terror and confusion, go check that out. It was hilarious. Tangel, you're a BDSM lady, yeah?
I am.
The asexual BDSM lady.
The asexual BDSM lady.
Indeed. Which is so interesting, because I think people
hear
asexual and just assume, they're not interested at all. But we're learning that it's definitely a spectrum, and people engage in sexual activity or, BDSM for so many different reasons.
Absolutely. Look, let's first start with asexuality. So the way I sort it out in my head is, if you remember that asexuality generally it refers to your sense of attraction, sexual attraction to somebody else. So asexuals don't have sexual attraction. That's the main gist of asexuality. Then there's actual sexual function. So under the category of no sexual attraction, there is a spectrum of people who are sex repulsed and wouldn't even want to be touched or engage in any form of sex. The whole idea is repugnant to them, right up to
kissing.
Even kissing. No sexual. Some people won't even be touched or cuddled.
It depends on the person, Ethan, so don't get scared.
Yeah,
well,
I know you like cuddling.
Then I'd say that that's a fairly rare subcategory. subcategory. Then there's people who are quite happy to engage in sex, even though they never feel sexual attraction to somebody. If they're with somebody that they love as their partner and friend, they might not ever initiate sex or feel the need to initiate it, but they can certainly enjoy it with somebody. So that's the sort of spectrum we're looking at. But it's based on the physical feelings of attraction or need for sex is just simply absent.
That's super interesting. And yeah, I've been kind of toying or wrestling with the idea that I might be on that spectrum somewhere, which has been super strange for me because I've had a lot of sex, not trying to like brag or anything, but like I got around and like still like sometimes will want it, but it's like I like to say like Mercury has to be in retrograde, it has to be a full moon. Like it's such a specific thing, and like I don't hate it, but it's not a need for me, and it has been very like confusing for me the more I have realized in the past, like that it is a need for people kind of didn't really click with me. This is like really embarrassing, but I kind of had this like sense of like superiority for a while where I was like, I don't even need it. Like everyone is so like primitive and and then I'm realizing like my therapist is like, so you know how you get hungry? Some people with like sex, it's like they are hungry and it's like very not like it makes them not feel good when they like get all these feelings bottled up. And I'm like, oh.
It makes you
didn't
cranky.
click for me.
It makes me cranky as hell.
It's like not I could go every once in a while. I'll be like, all right, damn, like I could use some of that, but I think if I had to go the rest of my life without sex, like I would be fine. And it's not because sex is bad. I have enjoyed sex, but it's just not like this craving need for me.
I think the food analogy is perfect because whenever somebody says, "What's it like?" I said, "Well, it's like being asked to eat when you're not hungry. I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. You might be starving. I'm not. Stop pushing food at me."
Yeah, and it's not that the food is bad. It could be delicious. And I'm like, okay, I'll have a bite. I can appreciate that. It is good, but like I'm just no thanks. Like it's not like, you know, a lot of people I've talked to, like when they start to get those sexual urges, it like ruins their day until they get it and it's all they can think about. And it's frustrating. And I can completely like I can empathize with that, but I can sympathize with it, but I don't relate.
I don't either. I can't imagine what it must be like.
Yeah.
On the flip side, I'm in the same boat. I can't imagine what it's like to not have that desire to.
Yes, you can. Straight after you come.
Imagine
then somebody saying, "Give me sex, give me sex," the minute you've come.
Yeah. Well, some people can go and go and go.
Interested, but there's still like even after even after I orgasm, I'm still sexually attracted to like the person I was with.
So if it's all right, can I ask you like what is like if this isn't too personal, like what is the reason for, you know, if from an outside perspective, and forgive me if this like sounds completely ignorant, but like I will admit I am because I'm still super learning, but I am very curious. As someone who identifies as asexual, what drives you to engage in BDSM?
Well, let's go back to the start then. I had a very low sex drive from day one. I did have it occasionally. In my teen years, it would pop its little head up occasionally. Very short-lived. I'm talking about 2 weeks. I found that it would be more apparent with a new partner. So if I had a new partner, it would be there for a couple of weeks and then it would die a natural death. So then I started questioning my sexuality and thought, well, maybe I'm gay. And the same thing happened. So I learned that I was bisexual or pansexual because it didn't matter to me who it was. If I was excited enough with a novelty, that would be enough to kickstart something, but it would still inevitably die within 2 weeks. So then I thought, well, maybe I just haven't found my thing. And I started in searching for different kinks and fetishes and exploring that world. And I just found I really enjoyed it. I really just love the drama and the fun. And it's a way of connecting with people, because the funny thing is, people think that if you're asexual, then that means you don't need any kind of human contact or affection, or and certainly there are asexuals who don't, but I do. I need to feel like I'm part of things, and I want some human contact, and I want to feel part of it. And I also love the drama and the suspense and the fear and just the atmosphere. It's just so much fun. So that's how I got into it. And I am a little bit of a sadist. Mind games are my thing. I'm particularly good at that, and scaring young
See that.
subs. I'm very, very naughty. And so that's how I ended up staying in it.
That's amazing. I relate to that
Yeah.
novelty aspect very much. I've had partners be like,
Yeah.
"Where did it go?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But it's been that way with everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have an audience question and a caller.
Oh, fantastic.
Sure.
Question from Kaitlyn Beyond. So I know this embarrassed me, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How do you know the difference between craving the attention and actually being sexually attracted to someone?
Oh, that's funny because I love attention, but I'm like, I'm basically like a cat. I'll be like, ooh, ooh, pet me. Don't touch me.
Yeah. The difference is, Kaitlyn, when you want attention, you generally want it above the waist. When you want sex, you want it below the waist. I guess that's the easiest way to describe it. It's very rare that I want to climb on top of someone and have my way with them. It has happened. It can happen. It's rare, but you can tell the difference. You can tell the difference.
Yep.
right.
I second that.
Caller, one of our favorites, Ameet, him, thinks he might be asexual, but doesn't know if it is more how he was raised or actual asexuality. Hey, Ameet, how's it going?
Hi, everyone. Hi, Ethan.
What?
Hi, Hannah. Hi, Tanjo.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. And you probably knew I was going to call this week. But I had to.
I was betting on it.
So
I had like a bunch of questions, but let me start off with the main one, right? I think I may be asexual. I suspect that there's a chance that I might be asexual, but I think it could also be because of the culture and the religion that I was raised in. I'm not sure. And the fact that asexuality is such a big umbrella term also kind of makes me question it, because it's not like I'm unattracted to people, but I do tend to relate very strongly to people who say, yeah, I need to form an emotional bond with people before I am attracted to them, which kind of, if I'm not wrong, sounds like demisexuality.
Right. Yeah, no,
So I suppose the question is, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I wasn't sure if the delay had stopped or you did.
Yeah, I suppose, how do I know if it's just, me working through stuff in my head versus who I actually, like, whether I actually have, like, whether I actually do fall on the spectrum of asexuality.
Tangela, you want to take a stab at that?
Yeah. Do you have raging boners and have a huge need to fuck someone? It really comes down to that. Or do you think you could live without sex? Are you craving the cuddles and the closeness and the relationship, or are you really just needing to orgasm? Is it a sex drive you're feeling, or that drive for companionship and closeness?
So the answer is it's complicated. I'm sorry, that probably doesn't help. Yes, I do definitely crave the cuddles in relationships. That is 100%
Cuddles are the best.
true.
Mm.
Sorry, I interrupted.
I do. Oh no, that's okay. I do have boners, but that's usually from me waking up in the morning with a boner, or I'm like my mind starts wandering, and I suddenly like the uncontrollable boner. But like usually that's something that I'm okay with just masturbating and getting rid of. It's not like I need sex.
It sounds like you have either a low sex drive, or because culture and religion can't affect your bodily reactions. It can stop how you handle them, but it can't really prevent your body from reacting the way it would normally react. So raging bunny, yeah, that's definitely it. So I would suggest you may have a low sex drive, or you might even be on the asexuality spectrum. But obviously I'm not a doctor, and we're just having a little brief conversation here.
Right.
But it also sounds like you're just a really nice person who prioritizes affection and relationships and connection. So that's just really nice.
It could be. I don't know myself. So like there's literally, it's a question mark out there. I suppose the question I have that follows that is, is it wrong to assume, like, am I doing harm by assuming that I am not on the asexual spectrum?
No. You're asexual. You're
for the
asexual.
purposes of everyday life?
Your sexuality is yours, and if you want to like slap a label on it because it helps you further articulate to partners or better understand yourself, that's fine. But as long as you're not being like, ugh, I could never be asexual because that's weird, I don't think that's a problem. But if you're just kind of like, yeah, maybe, I don't know, but I don't really feel like I have figured it out yet, I don't think that there's any harm in that. I mean, your sexuality and your journey is your own. Does that kind of answer your question? I hope I didn't misinterpret what you were asking.
No, you got it. I'm just like, to me, it's indifferent, but like, is there a purpose that would be served or hurt by me assuming that I am one way or the other? Like,
I don't.
I think
look, I'm terrible with.
Be my concern.
I'm terrible with labels. I really, I don't find them useful. I think they're useful in one sense that if you kind of think, well, I could be there, and if it helps you sort out your own mind about things, then that's kind of useful. But otherwise, we all evolve and change so much over our lifetimes that we rarely stay in one label or another. It usually overlap with so many other areas. I think they're only really useful to you in trying to sort out where you are and who you are. But again, they don't necessarily last a lifetime either. Things change, and dynamics with people that you have relations with will also affect that. I've had instances where my sex drive has been altered dramatically with different people. So they would have laughed at me calling myself an asexual.
Yeah, my therapist says like it could be like a pheromone thing.
Yeah.
Because like some people I'm like, but it really just depends. I'm like, oh, you smell good, but like I don't know it.
It smells a big
Pheromones are funny.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question, Ameet?
Yes, it definitely answered most of my questions. I suppose I have like a bunch of like small questions, but I think you folks will hit it eventually on this call.
Well, if you have another question, go ahead. But before you do, just to answer one of the audience questions, yes, if you have a BDSM related question, now is also the time to call when we have an expert on staff. So, Ameet, go ahead if you have another question.
Oh no, it's good. They're tiny ones. I'll if it's not covered, I'll just like leave it in the chat somewhere.
All right,
Yeah,
Ameet,
and
well,
I think we're
thank you
gonna
for
do
calling.
Discord after, so would love
That's
to
what I
see you
was
there.
going to ask. Yeah, we'll do the Discord after show. Tangel, are you on Discord?
Yes, I am.
I hope you're a part of the YFNA Discord.
Yes, I am.
If you're not, you will be.
Beyond that, if you want to be in the after show. Anyways, Ameet, thank you so much for your call.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one.
I love him. Okay.
Such a sweetheart.
He's the freaking best.
And Hannah loves his arms.
His
Okay.
arms?
Okay, this
What?
is live. All right. Ameet is a snack.
Hannah
We all
loves his
know. It's fine. Well,
arms.
moving on. Anyway, no, we met Ameet at Faithless Forum, and everyone was like, "Damn Ameet!" Like, cause he's like freaking. Anyway, but I'm over here trying to be like, I'm asexual.
But goddamn, I want to lick your arms.
Oh my god, he has a girlfriend he's taken, and I'm very happy for him. But I see that's the thing about asexuality is like I do find people like good looking, but I find myself more like wanting to like be friends with them really bad and just like wanting their attention like more than I had a really interesting interaction with one of my best girlfriends, platonic girlfriends, I have to specify because I'm kind of queer. So we went to a bar and she pointed out the bartender and she goes, like, I would love to take him home. And I was like, really? He seems really stupid. And she goes, yeah, but I bet he fucks really well. And I was like, oh, okay, like I bet he does, but it just didn't even occur to me that was something to take into consideration, that like you can just fuck someone because they look good at fucking, but like have nothing in common with them and don't even like them. Like that's really interesting. Like that was a light bulb moment for me where I was like, I don't relate to that. Cause like, yeah, I guess he would fuck well, but that would like, I don't know. It just seemed really, I didn't like it. I was like, I don't care though.
Like, I was like really... that. I was like that when I was active. I had to have that mental connection, and it didn't matter what they looked like at all. Right. If I could get that mental connection, there was absolutely nothing to do with looks whatsoever. It wouldn't matter who they were, what they looked like. But the other thing people forget is, even if you're asexual, it doesn't mean you don't still enjoy the mental images and the sexual fantasies in your brain. It just means, for me, I just don't want to actually do it. But that doesn't mean I don't want to throw some gorgeous guy down and lick him from head to toe and nibble on him and think about it and appreciate how cute he is, or, you know, dorky, because I think dorky guys are just the most adorable things.
High five.
And, yeah.
Amen. I love dorky boys.
Want to rip those glasses off and, you know, tear the buttons off his little dorky shirt and, scare the shit out of him. So
just you know, oh my gosh, I have something to tell you later on that I feel like you will relate to. Anyway.
Yeah. So all of that's still fun. So of course I still perv and enjoy perving and think, oh, you know, I just wouldn't do it.
Do you ever feel like the fantasy is sometimes more satisfying than the actual?
Oh, hell yes.
I have had sex with people and then been like, not that the sex was bad, but fantasizing about it was way more like exciting for me.
Yes.
Like I got off.
You do it, it's like, and it's not a big deal anymore. It's like that wasn't really that great.
It wasn't even like a letdown. The sex could be good. Sorry, we're just totally talking over. We're excited. Sorry. Sorry, Ethan. You don't get to have a word in today.
I know. Apparently not. Sorry. I'll let you continue.
I'm sorry. This is new to me and exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of that, Ethan, if you sorry, if you knew how many times I had fantasized about having you as my sub, you would be quite disgusted and terrified.
Wait, who?
You.
Me?
You.
Well, because Ethan, okay, like I'm gonna say this from like an objective standpoint. I feel like Ethan would be really fun to terrify.
Absolutely. It
Yeah.
excites the hell out of me. Mm-hmm.
Ameet, thank you for the super chat. Is it normal for asexual people to watch adult videos? I can't send the actual word. I can say it. Do asexual people watch porn? Depends on who you ask, because it is a spectrum. I like porn.
Yeah.
Rarely, but yeah. Every now and again, I try to see if my body will react. And so I enjoy porn, and I have an attempt to masturbate. Mostly it doesn't work, but yeah, I give it a go.
Does it ever?
I'm
It never
assuming
gets like
that
frustrating
question-
for you? Oh, go ahead.
That
Yes,
question is
sometimes.
referring to Ameet Matthew's super chat for $10. Thank you, Ameet Matthew. Is it normal for asexual people to watch adult videos?
Yeah, I think some
can't.
people do. Some people
I
don't.
can't speak for everybody, but certainly every now and
Sometimes-
again, not very often.
Then we have a question from Kyle. Has anyone requested you go further than you're comfortable with regarding BDSM? How do you react?
All the time. So I'm actually subbing at the moment, which I've avoided for a very long time, because as a dom, I'm not required to have sex. But when you sub, it's kind of part and parcel. Yeah, you're kind of just expected to. And I'm a bit of a pain pig, so I love being put up on the St. Andrew's cross and
Sorry, a
just
what?
whipped. And a pain pig.
I have a lot of questions. What's part and parcel?
You're expected to be a fuck toy if you're being a submissive
Okay.
to a dominant. So yeah, I've been pain subbing and they expect to use me, and I really don't want it. But to be honest, after you've been spanked, whipped, flogged for 4 hours, you're kind of in a sub haze, or like a high. So whatever happens at that point, you really don't care too much. But yeah, it happens all the time, and in some instances it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I've actually enjoyed it, and sometimes I've just barely been able to tolerate it. Yeah, depends on the circumstance.
That's interesting. I'm just kind of soaking that in for a minute. Just hopefully you don't do anything you don't want to do. That's what
no. Everything is always negotiated up front. I already know what I'm in for. And to me, mostly I don't have an issue with it, because that's part of submitting. And even if I don't like it, that's part of the fun, because you're doing something you don't want to do.
Got it. Right. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that.
It's hard to explain to people who aren't into BDSM why it would be fun to do something you don't really want to do.
It's very psychological.
It's very psychological. But yeah, so all of that's negotiated beforehand. I know what I'm getting into, and it's very much worth it for me.
It's amazing.
Very naughty.
Naughty.
Truth be told, you scare me a little bit.
And
well, I'm very subby at the moment, so I probably wouldn't scare you at all.
So you in like a I don't know how to like phrase this without sounding, I don't want to like be rude, but like, is this kind of like a phase you're trying out, or like do you have like, I'm gonna be dom for this time and now I'm gonna do some subbing?
No, I'm actually a natural sub. I know nobody thinks that, but I'm actually naturally submissive in my real life and in my BDSM life. I only dommed so I could avoid being put in that sexual situation. So domming's outside of my want or need. The only way, okay, we're going to end up talking about BDSM here.
That's fantastic.
Okay, there's a thing called service topping. So although I call myself a dom, what I am actually is a service top. So I'm actually still subbing in a sense because I'm pleasing people by giving them what they want in a dominant role. I'm still finding a way to sub.
That's really interesting. Yeah, because that's what blew my mind is like kind of doms in my experience have been more like, I'm going to use you for my pleasure. But the way you've kind of described your BDSM is very like just taking them on this psychological journey, but not really needing, it's not quid pro quo or anything like that. You're not really requiring anything from it other than you kind of like to enjoy scaring the shit out of people.
That is so much fun.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I've never really gotten that much into BDSM, but I love scaring people. And I've heard that is sadistic. Kind of a power thing.
It's not just that. So many women are unfulfilled because, as you probably have discovered with yourself, you might be one of those people that have got into the habit of saying, I need so much foreplay. Because when you're struggling with your sexuality, if you've still got some drive, you do need a lot of foreplay to really get into it. So BDSM is that. It's like hours of foreplay in a sense. So if you've got a sluggish sex drive, I mean, there's nothing better. And the drama and the impact and the anticipation and the sensory overload at times, it's just... It's awesome.
Because the thing is, like, I'm such a sub, but I'll be like, just spank me for like 3 hours, but like, don't have sex with me. Because it's just fun. Like,
Absolutely. Well, find your local spanking parties and off you go.
All right. I'm going to Google that after the show.
Well, come to Australia. We've got one in January.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I always come away from these so inspired with you.
We have 2 calls on the line.
Okay.
Tangela, I'm going to let you decide which one we take first. Do you want an asexual related question or a BDSM question?
Well, we were just talking about BDSM, so why not that one?
All right. So we'll Chelsea, we'll get you in a minute. Kevin, thoughts on negative public perceptions of BDSM? You are on with Hannah and Tangela and Ethan. How's it going?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Good. So what do you got for us?
All right. So yeah, I think that conversation there was a perfect kind of segue into where I was going. So I'm glad that Tangela kind of explained her position on that. And my question was kind of regarding the negative stereotypes around BDSM, and specifically, like for me, when I was in a long-term relationship, and me and my partner at the time got into BDSM. When some of our friends found out about it, there were, kind of rumors circulated that it wasn't a mutually kind of agreed thing, right? But so I just wanted to see if you had experiences or thoughts about that, and maybe how to improve the public's perception.
Oh, I have lots of ideas about that, and I put them into practice. Yes, people who say that sort of thing are just plain stupid and ignorant, and I constantly talk about it. I talk about it with anybody that will listen to me. I would rather my daughter in the BDSM community any day over, especially during her teen years. You go home with some guy or, person from a nightclub, you don't sit down and negotiate what your safe word is. You don't negotiate what activities you're prepared to do. You don't negotiate anything at all. You don't even openly talk about what you might do in that bedroom when you go home with someone that night. And you actually go home with someone that night, which is insanity. There's no reference checks, there's no safety checks. You have no idea who that person is. I personally never did that in my life, but I know all my friends did. I know of friends who had men, just trying to go straight into anal without any preparation, discussion, or surprise anal.
Don't do that, guys.
Yeah, don't do that. Porn is not real. And And it's just so dangerous. In the BDSM community, that doesn't happen. You have lengthy negotiations. People are talking about things. There's huge amounts of consent, and everything's laid out on the table. The idea that the BDSM community is somehow abusive, or look, I'm sure there is, but I think it would be far less than it would be in the general vanilla community of men abusing women, and especially in vanilla relationships where men often will take control. And I don't know how much you know about women and what they do when they want to impress men, but often women will do things they don't want to do in order to be with a person that they like a lot. And it's not fun, it's not fair, and it's not safe. And so all I constantly do is promote the fact that the BDSM community have very strict rules. There's a little anagram, thing. Oh, what's the word when you just use initials? RAC, risk aware, safe kink, and safe, sane, and consensual. And most people, certainly me, I get things in writing. So I do a BDSM checklist, and then before I play, I will sit them down and we will go through, and I'll make them practice saying red and excuse me, miss, I'm not comfortable with this. And I'll make them say it over and over and over, and I'll go through. Do you have medical issues? Are there any places I can't touch you? Do you have problems with your knees that you can't be on? Can you stand for long periods of time? I'm going to ask you for a number between 1 and 10 all the time throughout play, and you give me that number. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be for your mental state, your physical state, your pain level. Just give it to me whenever I ask you for it. And yeah, we just run through it all. Now, where are you going to get that meeting a stranger off the street and going home for the first time? Where?
Yeah.
And usually when you're playing with somebody from the BDSM community, you usually know someone who knows them. There's some sort of indication of what type of safe player they are.
They've got Google
normally
reviews.
normally there's people who run out of the community if they're not a safe player. I just think it's one of the much more safer communities to play in than just picking somebody up off Tinder or a dating site or the local bar. So fuck them and fuck their stupid perceptions.
Yeah, they just don't know because they're not in it, and sad for them.
And their stupid prudishness. And not everyone's into the whole dungeon whipping hardcore stuff. As I've said to Ethan on our previous show, generally speaking, I'd say 90% of the community are into fun little spankies, some handcuffs and some giggles. It's just fun, slap and tickles. It's not big hardcore stuff.
Does that answer your question, Kev?
Yeah, and that's excellent and great advice. And thank you all for taking the time.
Thanks for listening to
Keep doing you. Yeah. No, it's fantastic.
All right, have a good one, Kevin. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was a rant.
No,
Hey,
it's
that's
like
okay. Rant away.
super. You're doing great.
Thank you.
Okay, ready for our next caller? Yeah?
Go ahead.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Chelsea from North Carolina is asexual and wants relationship advice on asking out a guy she has known for a while. Chelsea, you are on with Ethan, Hannah, and Tangel. How are you?
Pretty good. And I want to be sure I'm pronouncing the name correct, because is it Tangel?
Yes.
Tangel. Yeah.
Tangel.
Yay, I got it right. I just want to make sure I was pronouncing it. Tangel.
So what do you got for us?
Yeah, basically what you just said. I've known this guy since childhood. We like after kindergarten we split, like not split like relationship wise, but like friendship. Like we got separated,
Circumstances change.
Then later in high school, do what?
Oh, I was gonna say circumstances change, and yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. And in high school, we met again in, ironically, a church, which I'm not Christian, never really was. I really believed in that stuff. I just went to the youth group just to meet friends. Or
I went to youth group as an
I didn't have
atheist.
any
It
friends
was fun.
there. I was kind of forced to, but also I kind of wanted to just so I could, because I was already miserable as fuck because I'm trans. And I couldn't even transition, but that's a different story for another time.
Okay.
But to get back on track, he was a hardcore Christian back then. I mean, Southern Baptist. I mean, yeah.
Ooh.
He wouldn't have been okay with me being trans then. But I didn't know that. I thought then years later, like as of this year, I found him on Facebook and we reconnected, sent him a friend request, and I asked him, "Are you the?" I'm not gonna say his name. Are you the such and such person I'm talking about? And he said, "Yes, I am." But yeah, I think it felt like we hit it off pretty well. That's my vibe. But then I realized through discussing, like, then conveying my feelings towards him after a while, talking with him again and chatting and all that, I realized that I'm not sure where this puts me and how much he either likes me or if there could. I'm just like kind of confused. I don't know where to go with this.
That can be really difficult.
He was in a relationship with someone, and that person really scarred him to the point where it made him rethink relationships.
That's unfortunate.
And he only does friends, so he says. Now, I mean, I believe that, but I can't help but in the back of my mind, just like I keep falling for this guy over and over and over again because I'm trying to figure him out. I'm just like in that daze. I can't get out of that daze, but also I'm just not sure what to do.
That can be really scary. Yeah.
But you're asexual.
Yes, I'm asexual, and he is asexual too. He has admitted it too much.
Huh.
Oh, well, that's different. I was about to say, don't go there.
No, that makes
Yeah.
that could work. That could work out.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you're talking a lot. I mean, he's opened up to you a lot.
Yeah, we talk on a pretty much daily basis through text.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
So I guess you're wondering if you should, like, does he know how you feel already?
He does.
Okay, so I feel like if you asked him, like, where he was at, that wouldn't, out you and your feelings and be embarrassing for you. However, the scary part is, what if it's an answer you don't like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you
are
said
you
he already
willing?
knows and hasn't asked you out.
Yeah, or maybe he doesn't know how to. I mean, you've also expressed that he said, he doesn't really want a relationship, and maybe that's kind of a sign to just, be friends and maybe when he's ready,
I'm okay with. Real quick, I'm okay with being friends. I love hanging out with him. We click. He's an introvert, I'm an extrovert, and that kind of contributes to our getting along.
Trans terror is a real thing.
There's a lot of introverts. Go ahead.
I said trans terror is a real thing.
Trans
How do you
terror?
mean
What's that?
Yeah, terrified of dating trans people.
Like being public about it. I mean, is he still religious?
Oh no. Well, I mean,
good.
he's not that kind of religious anymore.
Okay.
He's not Southern Baptist anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not even
Okay.
close. He's opposite of that now, but he's still in the Christian branch, but more, I might as well just say Christian mysticist. Yeah, he probably
okay.
knows who I am.
Oh.
Interesting. So you've told him
If
how you
he's ever watching
feel.
this, I doubt he is, because he's not really big into atheist spaces. He's just big into philosophy.
Okay, well that's cool. And have you kind of said anything like, "Hey, could we ever date? I want to date you." Have you gotten to that territory yet?
I haven't gotten that yet. I don't think, if I remember correctly. It's
Mhm.
been a while since I asked him how he felt about me. After he told me about his other relationship that started him, made him rethink relationships altogether. What was your question, so I can get back on track?
No, you're okay. I mean, you did answer my question. So you've told him how you feel, and then asked, how do you feel about me? And it sounds like he might have just said, I don't know if I want to be in a relationship at all. Is that correct?
Excuse me. Sorry, I just had a burp. There you go. Okay.
I do
Sorry.
that all the time on
Excuse
this
me.
show. It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, yes.
What was the
I'm not
sense
sure if
you
I
got
should-
back from? Yeah.
Say it again. I couldn't quite hear you.
Sorry, I said, what was the sense that you got back from him when you disclosed your feelings? Did he reciprocate or kind of be vague and uncommitted?
That's a good question. Let me. No, I'm not going to go back to my messages because we'd be here forever. I'm just going to try and think real fast. I think it was. I didn't want to push too much because once we got to the subject of his ex, I didn't want to push any further than that because I didn't want to upset him. Do you think that was a good move?
I think that was a good move. I think, you didn't kind of come in guns blazing about, if he's opening up about something that was hard for him, you're not like, oh, cool. So do you want to be in a relationship? It's like, take it easy one step at a time. I think that was very conscientious of you. I don't know. It sounds like you kind of haven't really gotten an answer either way. I am one of those people that's like, say how you feel, and eventually things maybe fall into place. I mean, he already knows how you feel and is still willing to be friends with you. So if you're still willing to be friends with him, if he says, look, I don't want a relationship, then it doesn't really hurt your friendship to be like, I'm interested in you, but as long as you're willing to still be friends if the answer is no. Because it sounds like he at least really likes your company and likes and does feel safe opening up with you. And that can still be very, very a beautiful thing. But, if you feel like you can handle being friends with him while wanting more and not and just, being able to not expect more, then it doesn't hurt to just try. I mean, he already knows how you feel, so I don't think you'll be surprising him asking,
kind of like a kink almost.
Pardon?
I said kind of like a kink almost.
I couldn't hear what
I
Yeah, I
didn't
couldn't
catch
hear
that.
that either.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was making a joke. Like kink, like kind of.
Oh, a kink.
That is that like.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. I just didn't hear the word you said. Yeah. I'm into this, and if you're not, we can still hang out. But here's my thing.
My cat just puked all over the carpet.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's
Ethan.
interesting.
Sorry, getting us off topic. But yeah.
I think if you can handle the potential rejection, because sometimes it can be hard and that's okay. maybe suggest it and feel it out. But as long as you feel like you can still be friends with him, I mean, either way, because, you know, I've had an experience where I've had friends who were into me and had ulterior motives the whole time. And as soon as I expressed that they weren't interested, they totally ditched me. And that was actually very heartbreaking. So I think just kind of evaluate, like, do I hang out with this person because I want more? Or can I genuinely live with just having them in my life at the capacity that they're comfortable with?
Native Atheist, thank you so much for the super chat.
I hope this helps. I know it's never easy trying to figure out what another person wants, especially if they're not telling you.
See, I feel a bit different to Hannah. I feel like you've already got your answer. I think if
Really?
you tell someone how you feel and I think if you tell someone how you feel and the answer isn't immediately reciprocated and made very, very clear, then they're not feeling it. I would take that as a sign that they're not on the same level as me, and that to leave it at that.
Tangel, you're more wise than I am. But at the same time, some people are really bad at taking initiative.
That's very true. I wouldn't, you know, this is just me, and I, you know, I'm just one person.
This makes it so much more complicated.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Now I'm caught in between crossfires.
Well,
no.
Is he the sort of person that need? Do you normally is he good at picking up on subtlety, or does he normally need to be hit over the head with the obvious?
Elaborate on that.
Well, if you drop subtle hints, is he likely to pick up on them, or do you normally have to be very, very blatant with what you mean, direct and blunt?
I think he picks up on my subtlety. I think he still knows how he likes. I mean, I like him. I'm not entirely sure.
Does he ever flirt with you?
I've never been in a relationship in my life. So I don't know what to expect.
All right, try this.
I'm just like,
try this. Say, would you be comfortable if I asked you out?
I like that.
Oh, you mean ask him?
Ask him that. Say, would you be comfortable if I were to ask you out? That way he can say yes or no to the question without actually you cornering him into making any declaration about how he feels about you.
Interesting.
Okay.
I like that.
Do you mind if I write that down real quick? I want to ask
you can
him
write
that
right
down.
now,
but I'm gonna write it somewhere else.
All right.
I want an update on this.
How would it make you uncomfortable?
No. Would you be comfortable if I were to ask you out?
Would you be comfortable?
Are you messaging him now?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm just typing it out. I'm typing it out on Discord. He's not even on Discord.
Oh, okay. But hang on.
I'm just typing it out so I can just read it later
the terminology.
and something else.
Sorry, use the terminology that means. I don't know what your particular area uses. Does date mean something romantic? Here in Australia, asking you out means something romantic. So
in the States,
does it mean the same for you, or would you need to specifically state a date? What terminology best conveys romance?
Date.
Yeah, well then say, would you be comfortable if I were to ask you out on a date?
Okay.
Yeah, that way it gives him an out where he doesn't have to be like, he doesn't feel like he has to right out reject you. He can just kind of
reject
say,
the
I'm not
question.
interested in the date, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I like that. That's a good answer to my question, and
Oh, good.
I know it took us a
I
while.
guess that's I'm just gonna have to deal with whatever the reaction is.
Well,
Yeah, I
Chelsea,
mean-
I
And
hope
if-
it's good news, but it'd be nice if we could hear an update from you.
Yeah,
Call us
please,
back and let us
let
know
us
how.
Oh,
know.
definitely.
Yeah, call back and let us
Hopefully it's
know
not
if you
rejection,
want
but
to.
if it is, so be it.
I hope it's
I'm
not a
fine with
rejection.
being friends. Would you recommend if it's like a rejection kind of thing? Would you recommend me take a break from him or something?
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, I think maybe just reassure him like that's fine. Unless you feel like you need a break. If you feel upset by it and need a break, that's okay. But you know, I think
Okay.
maybe because I'm sure he is worried about hurting your feelings or the relationship if he or the friendship
yeah,
if he
yeah.
does reject
Mhm.
you. But just, I think the best thing you can do is if you are okay with it, just say that's completely fine and just move on being friends.
Okay. Thank you so much for taking my call. It's been very helpful.
Good.
I hope so.
And
Good
to answer
luck.
the question about I do have a quick thing to say real quick about because I'm asexual with needs. Yes,
Mhm.
I'm not sexually active, but I look at porn. Yes, I only do it just to masturbate. So that
Yeah.
answers that question.
Oh,
But I'm not
Yeah.
interested in having sex with anybody. So you're
Yes.
right, it is a spectrum.
It
Yes.
most certainly is. Lots of asexuals masturbate.
All right.
They just don't have any sexual attraction to anybody else.
all right, Chelsea.
Yeah, that's not me. Well, actually, it's kind of me, but yeah, it's kind of complicated.
Right, as we're
Take my
learning.
call and have a good night.
Thank you.
You
too,
too.
Chelsea.
Thank
Night,
you.
Chelsea. Bye.
Bye.
All right, ciao.
Bye.
Well, that was a great call.
She was sweet. I hope it goes well for her.
Me
I'm nervous.
too. Oh, I feel nervous too. I've got the butterflies in my tummy as I'm thinking about it.
I
Actually
do not miss
texting
that.
him.
Oh, do you like me?
Oh
Like
no,
I
that's such a
don't miss that.
nerve-wracking feeling.
I don't miss that.
I've
So-
actually got a little bit of that going on myself with the new Dom at the moment. He is so indifferent. He's fucking with my brain. I love it, but it's
yeah, it's
torture.
great. The chase is fun. But it is torture. Yes.
It is torture.
Well, hopefully it goes well.
Well,
Mm.
Tangel, we got to get out of here in just a moment. You said you're down for the after show, though, correct?
Sure. Does anybody want to keep listening to me yabber on?
Yes, they do. So for those
Always.
watching, we go to Discord after and do an after party there with Hannah, Tangel, myself, and then a couple of the mods. We usually talk. So yeah. Oh crap! Got to thank the patrons too. Cindy Plaza, Left Right Left, Kenneth Leonard, Skye, JumpandShoot, Oz, Secular Rarity, Philip Leitch, Kaitlyn Beyond, Toast, Richard Gilliver, Sunset Sarge, Ameet, Mathew, Ray Sylvester, and Kyle Brewer. Thank you so much for your patronage. Also, I feel like I didn't say a word this single episode.
I'm so sorry. I know. I kept
So
thinking you need to let
sorry.
Ethan talk, but I was really
Yeah.
excited. I'm so
No,
that's
it was the
fine.
Tangel
both-
and Hannah show.
You both, I didn't even need to be here. You both made it a really good episode.
Okay, next week we're going to talk about how much you love cuddles.
Well, funnily enough, I've just started my own cuddle buddy business, and I am a qualified cuddle/touch therapist.
Wow, I would be the worst at that. I'm the worst cuddler.
Oh no! See,
Yeah,
I'm a
you said,
mum,
Hannah, you
and
said you just will lay your leg across Thomas and
That's-
consider that cuddling. Which
Yeah,
that totally is not
some
cuddling.
contact is good for me, but then I get too hot and I need to sprawl. Sometimes I've been getting more cuddly lately, but I think that's because we've been spending a lot of quality time together and playing a lot of video games together, and that makes me feel like he's my best friend, so therefore I want to cuddle with him. It's
Yep.
it's a thing. Like I need to connect. I don't just want to cuddle. It has to be this whole Mercury needs to be in retrograde.
See, I've just taken the mother role on, and I just think of all these lonely people and their babies in hospitals, little preemie babies,
Oh, I could cuddle
and
babies.
disabled people and elderly men who have lost their wives who just want nurturing and cuddles.
Oh,
So,
so
yeah,
you're actually
see?
helping people
oh
with
my,
mental health.
bless
Uh-huh.
you.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for being here. It's always
Oh,
a blast.
thank you
Yeah,
for
it's
having
always
me
a blast.
on.
It's a good time.
I love you two people. Love you, love you, love you.
All right, well, we'll see
All
you
right,
on
everyone.
Discord.
Yep.
Great,
Join
see
us
you
in the
there.
Discord after shore. Good night.
Bye.
Night.